Oh, the humanity. Once upon a time, in a not too distant past, it was all roses, kumbaya between Messrs Verstappen and Norris. They said it themselves that they were friends and that the relationship would always come before any on-track rivalry. Lando Norris said of Max Verstappen that his friendship doesn't diminish his ability to compete with him on track. Indeed, it enhances it. Those two travelled back and forth to race weekends on Max's private jet, didn't they? They conversed. They enjoyed sessions on iRacing. This was not a ruse. No, indeed, they were friends. Well, oh, how things change in real time as far as F1's concerned, right? Paradigm shift settings, because now we come to find out, per Ralf Schumacher, that those two don't even talk. Sack off Ralf Schumacher for a second. Lando Norris said as much as at last race weekend, didn't he? That of the incident at the Mexican Grand Prix, Lando said they haven't even talked about it. And again, the context here is that these two used to be friends, best buddy settings. But you can make the argument that in this piranha's tank of a sporting endeavour that we call the Wonder Fs, you can't be friends. There are no such thing when you all want the same thing. Of course, that being a driver's championship success, to realise the hopes and dreams that you've harboured since you were a young lad. This was always going to happen. It was a matter of when and not if. But things are changing in real time. And Ralf Schumacher's chimed in and he said that the reason why that those two aren't speaking is of course as a function, no, by dint of the competitive landscape, the fact that Lando now has a car and he's capable of taking points. For a while there it looked like squeaky bum time until this race weekend just passed in the Drivers' Championship, that is 2024. But here's what's being reported. Lando Norris's friendship may have been stretched with one Maximilian Verstappen's 3, soon to be 4-time champion, beyond its limits in the most recent race weekends. There have been signs as the pair clashed on track in the point standing as well as verbally via the media at times. The pair are not currently on speaking terms, notwithstanding the fact that only a couple of moons ago they were best friends. It's hard to maintain friendship, says Ralf Schumacher, brother of Michael, if you're really fighting for the championship and for positions as they are. They didn't fly together to the last two races as was usually the case. I'm not even sure whether the friendship they had still exists in its current form. Oh, the humanity, ladies and gents. And I want to empathise. It's sad when any friendship perishes, but there is no place for friends in Formula One, surely. Surely we want them to be grizzled, hard, ruthless drivers. Hark back to Ayrton Senna and Mansell and all of these guys, Alain Prost. They only wanted to win. And that's what we want to see from Lando Norris. You could argue if Lando had that trait in real time, then we might be still watching a championship in 2024 that could potentially be close. He may still have it in him to keep Maximilian Verstappen honest. However, as at November of 2024, you might argue in real time that Lando Norris doesn't have that whatever that is. Ruthlessness, that X factor, the ability to go above and beyond as per a Max Verstappen at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Do you know what I mean? Article continues. As many others hailed Max Verstappen's victory from P17 on the grid at Interlagos a match point in the 2024 championship, Lando Norris, 24 years old, initially said that victory, that race, that god tier performance from Maximilian Verstappen was more about luck than talent. Hang on. What are we doing here, Lando Norris? How very dare you? Now you guys know that we've referred to this, we've covered this before, but every time I read it, it gets more chaotic, more disingenuous, more unfactual, incorrect, settings, that was more about luck. Yeah, there was a safety car, and of course you've got to account for that somehow, but that there was no talent in that drive. Behave yourself, Lando Norris. In saying that, it's disingenuous indeed. That, Lando, reveals more about the problem that is you than anything that Max Verstappen did or didn't do, as at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And people have chimed in on this because people don't like this, that people still, as at the 6th of the 11th, 2024, are failing to give Max Verstappen the credit he deserved for that race weekend at Brazil. Dutch race legend Tom Coronel told the Telegraph newspaper that was really not luck from Max Verstappen, but a strategic choice that involved a risk that worked out well. Ergo, unless Max Verstappen was brilliant enough to keep wearing inters that were on their last legs on the track, notwithstanding it was monsoon conditions, but for all of that, all of the strategy and luck fades to black. I've said it a gazillion times on this channel, and I will reiterate for the avoidance of doubt. Luck, some say, is where hard work meets preparation. There was a lot of skill involved in that, and most people, most F1 aficionados and commentators, drivers too, please see Charles Leclerc, believe that there was more skill in that circumstance than there was luck. Olive Moll of Ziggo Sport had this to say: I found that sentence from Lando Norris not okay. It had nothing to do with luck. It wasn't even pure luck. I found that really sad. You should not say that after such a performance. I mean, Norris started from pole position, and where did he finish? Oh, the humanity, ladies and gents, going full send is this chap. The only answer I can give is that it was not talent. Has he ever finished lower of Lando Norris? Again, jibing. Full send settings. Has he never finished lower from pole position? So he has no right to say what he said. You shouldn't dismiss Max like that or anybody else. It feels like a chime in on Lando Norris' multitudinous ineptitudes as a Formula One driver. No, Martin Brundle, as we round third base, had this to say: that Lando Norris lacks the killer instinct to contend with the brutality as far as his unique brand of racing and wheelcraft, as far as Max Verstappen's concerned, that was so on display this weekend past. Martin Brundle said this to Sky Sports News: it's about improving everything as far as Lando Norris at the level he's at. He's had some amazing victories, and not least in Zandvoort and Singapore, where he just ran off and hid. 30 seconds to the good was he as at Zandvoort. A little bit like Max dominates sometimes. Brundle continues, but he lacks experience of challenging for a world championship, and I think that's a whole new set of challenges and rules, and that's what he will learn from this year going forward. But I think Lando will learn from this season. Sometimes you wonder, and this is where it gets techie, chat. Sometimes Martin Brundle wonders, does Lando Norris lack the killer instinct requisite to go up against a Maximilian Verstappen, a 3 soon-to-be 4-time champion, who we know can be brutal in wheel-to-wheel combat? Oh, the humanity. Let me put my devil's advocate cap on for a second, Mr. Brundle. I will see you that and raise you this. Surely if we're being super critical of Lando Norris and we're going to connect the F1 dots, surely then if Lando Norris is starting to pipe up, starting to take it to Max Verstappen by virtue of them not even speaking, no longer are they friends, no longer is Lando Norris travelling on Max Verstappen's private jet to and from Grand Prix weekend. Surely that's the first step. The building blocks of a championship campaign. Ergo, Lando Norris is maybe turning a corner, just maybe. Indulge me in my hyperbole and my overly optimistic take here. But I think this is the first step for Lando Norris. Now listen, this isn't me saying that Lando's going to be a championship anytime, going to win a championship or be a champion anytime soon. That would be disingenuous. That would be a reach. However, every journey has to start somewhere. And I would contend, Martin Brundle, that whilst you're right as at November of 2024. If indeed we're talking about lines of travel, one could make the argument for Lando Norris. Though it seems the Drivers' Championship in 2024 might be out of sight, potentially he is building, laying down the first bricks as far as championships going forward in 2025. If indeed you harbour aspirations to win yourself a World Drivers' Championship or a championship of the constructors variety, for the avoidance of doubt, it is the oldest truism in Formula One history. Ron Dennis told you, this is a piranha's tank of a sporting endeavour. Ergo, there cannot be friends. There is no such thing. It's a myth, fugazi, hypothesis, the stuff of old folklore. Lando Norris has to realise this and institute for this in real time. Here's hoping that he can do it, because 2025 is going to get a bit techie for him, and he will have another opportunity, lest he wish to seize defeat once again for the maws and jaws of victory. You'll need to institute for these changes in real time, forthwith. Go forth, Lando Norris. 'Tis your move, sir.